Good day, welcome to Wild Ways Podcast 2026. I'm Lyman Miller. This will be a quick one just to reintroduce myself and to go along with some of the commitments I made for 2026. And as we got through 25, I was reflecting on it a little bit and my change from everyday business and then being a weekend warrior to a full-time outdoors guy. It didn't go very smooth. Quite honestly, it was a lot rougher than I thought. I had some old life stuff to deal with, still just about done, but it was both mentally and physically challenging as well to step out of what I'm so used to. But I'll tell you what, at this point, it seems to be moving in the right direction. I'm going to continue to do it. I've got a lot more goals for 2026. You know, one of the reasons why I was thinking about making the transition to getting out of the matrix, so to speak, was because my personal opinion is Canada's a bit of a dumpster fire compared to the Canada that I grew up in. It was quite frustrating to see some of the decisions that, you know, the people that somehow got voted in are making that I have absolutely zero say with, and it was very frustrating and seemed to me there was quite a lot of brainwashing or possibly just some other elite group trying to run this country into the ground. It was unbelievable. So that's where I'm like, no, I can only control what I can control, and that's my decisions, my actions, how I move forward. And rather than get angry or bitch and whine every morning, I just decided to make the change that I think was best for myself personally and hopefully my family too down the road here. It's obviously I have to figure out how to make some revenue streams out of that. That's one of my goals for this year, but it's sure easier on the mind when I don't have to, you know, fall victim to staring at my phone and looking at all the bad news and all the weird things that are going on, not only in Canada but around the world. So I've realigned my priorities, and it's been so good for me. They're, you know, God, my family, and my lifestyle, because again, I can only control the controllables. So I'll focus on that, and I'll focus on being a good influence and for my family and my kids, and hopefully maybe some other people along the way as well. But yeah, it was a tough. You forget when you're working outside now all the time. It's hard on the body if you're not used to it. So it was a transition year. I think last year I lost like 20 pounds just from being outside, obviously not going to the gym or anything, just from working outside and doing things outdoors. And even though it wasn't as much, that was a positive change. But you wake up sore quite a bit of the time. My most memorable outdoor experience of 2025 would have been the fall moose hunt with my kid and a couple of friends of ours. It was just we were out there for 8 days. It was a great time. We had pretty good weather for the most part, and we just had a really good visit. It was great to spend time with my kid out there. We did an ocean trip, and we did some other stuff on the west coast. But that would have been my most memorable outdoor memory from last year. Now, 2026 is going to look a little bit better in terms of my outdoor lifestyle. I think I got through some of the old stuff that was sort of dragging me down and holding me down and holding me back. I still have a little bit to deal with, but I feel pretty good about some of the progress made last year. So what's in store for the Wild Ways podcast, and also my YouTube outdoor channel, which is Lyman's Wild Ways. I plan on spending, Lord willing, 50% of my time out in the bush doing stuff, whether it's fishing or trapping or hunting. With the seasons, foraging, I really want to try doing some more foraging this year. I did a bit of that last year. It was pretty fun. It gives you a real good reason to be out. And it is neat when you go out foraging. There's so much too. If you never paid attention to foraging, man, there's so much stuff that comes in the season, even up here in north central BC, and there's stuff that comes into season, and it's everywhere. It's really fun to do it, and it's good exercise. And I did some on my own last year. I did some with my family. It was just a good outing. I mean, so I'm amping up my outdoor life. So the thing I gotta do is figure out revenue streams though, and so maybe foraging, maybe I'll do a little bit of guided fishing off the coast this year. I've never been a guide before, but I've been out a bunch of times. I'm considering that. I'm considering one thing about the outdoor life is I believe you need a few different revenue streams. So I plan on focusing on that along with the outdoor content, this podcast, and I'm doing some writing as well, which has been interesting. I used to write as a kid, and then I got away from it for a long time with business and everything. So I'm pushing myself. I have some pretty good goals for 2026. I got to break some bad habits, a few bad habits that are still lingering around. I'm working toward that. But it should be a fun year, and I hope that we keep moving in the right direction, and I personally keep growing as a person and becoming a better person. Somebody that really is, if I become a better person and I'm somebody that can help other people, that's rewarding for me. But some of the trapping, I'm just going to get into trapping for the next 2 months. I know some of the guys around here have been into it already for a month or so. I felt like the weather was a little bit different, plus a little bit odd for me because I got to travel to my trap line, and my schedule was kind of screwed up, plus the weather was screwed up. It was warm for quite a while, and then we'd have like a cold snap, and then it would warm right up. It's really strange. Right now it's settled, seems to have settled into more of winter weather patterns, and it just feels great to get out. And so I'm gonna get out trapping for the next 2 months, and then after that I would really want to spend some time out there doing some spring beaver trapping. That's fun. The days are long, and then maybe some bear hunting, and then into the fishing season and foraging and all that stuff. But that's my plans for this year. I hope I'm interesting enough that some people want to follow along on that. And one of the things I'll touch base on is, I was asking AI because I'll touch base on the Grizzly, debate that's going on. And the debate's going on is in 2017 they shut the grizzly bear hunt down here in BC. A lot of bullshit on that. That was a political decision. It was not based on science or anything like that. And that's the truth, whether people like it or not, whether you love grizzlies or not. I love them. I used to hunt them. I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. They're certainly different than black bears in about every way possible. So this last year we had a bunch of grizzly bear attacks, including like a school full of children, and some people on the internet were like going, how could you take the kids in the bush? And well, that's what we do here. Like, don't be an idiot. You can't live in fear. You got to go out in the bush. But they ended up getting mauled. Like 11 people, including some kids, got mauled. Four people got critically injured. And I think in that scenario, the teachers were pretty heroic in fending off that bear. And we had 2 people get mauled. One of them really bad, about an hour north of here. So then we had a guy get mauled. He was calling elk. Grizzly came in and attacked him, and then he died in the hospital a few days later. And then another guy got bit in the ankle. So it was ongoing this year, the grizzly attacks. And so when I asked AI to look at all the news outlets, there wasn't one reported black bear attack on a human in BC in 2025. So, and like anecdotally, there's way more grizzlies. I've got a video coming out on Lyman's Wildways YouTube channel. I'll put the link below on the grizzly encounters we've had. They're way more. It seems like the black bears, like there's way more human black bear conflicts in terms of a black bear will come on your deck, or it'll eat the apples out of your apple tree, or it'll be a little bit of a nuisance. But there wasn't one reported black bear attack on a human last year, and there was like 15 or more people that were attacked by grizzlies in BC last year. So anecdotally, do we have a grizzly problem? In some ways, yes. And so if conservation officers have to go and kill these bears, I don't understand why we wouldn't allow a certain amount of regulated hunting on them, especially when we have people willing to pay a whole bunch of money, you know, $25,000 or more dollars US to harvest a grizzly. And the numbers are, and I'm not a scientist, but I know they're very healthy in my area where I frequent, and you hear it all the time. What's happening now is if the CO doesn't kill it, these problem grizzlies, and this is the reality of it. For all those politicians down there that think they're, you know, making these decisions and people are listening to it, like what's happening is people are just going to kill them, unfortunately, and then they're going to walk away from it, or they're going to bury it, or they're going to hide it, or they're going to do something. Like that's reality. If you have grizzlies that are threatening your livelihood, your ranch, your farm, your family, people up in the north that live out here that encounter these things have nothing but respect for them, but they're not going to mess around anymore. I know that. Anybody that thinks that doesn't happen is crazy. So I would, hopefully somebody in there comes up with some common sense. They use some science and some numbers to back that up, and they can change that, because we can't keep going on a trend where, you know, 15 people are getting mauled by bears a year in BC, and one of them dies, and thank God for those teachers with those kids. That could have been a real horrific incident. It's so interesting that it takes really bad things to happen for people to wake up, and I hope that they really look into this, and if not, I mean, the people will take care of it themselves. It's just reality. They're not scared. It's a big province. So let's use our common sense here and see if there's a way to bring that back, and let resident hunters apply for draws, and let guide outfitters have clients come up that want to harvest one. As long as it's done sustainably, it should be good to go. We actually had the one grizzly this year was walked right into camp, and we had to fire a warning shot at it, and it didn't run off. All it did is the wind was bad, and so we were trying to yell at it and stuff. It wasn't really paying attention, so we fired a warning shot, and that got its attention. And all it did is just did a wide berth around us, and which is exactly what we wanted it to do, is like a wide berth around us. But we watched it for quite a while, and he was initially alarmed, and then it was like probably about a 3 or 4 year old bear, and he just took its time, but did give us a wide berth. We never seen it again after that. Yeah, so just wanted to give the quick update, the quick first podcast of 2026. I hope to continue this. I hope to provide content on the outdoor channel and podcasts that are relevant and interesting to certain groups of people. And other than that, we'll see you all next week. Take care.